So after exploring thousands of AI tools, consulting hundreds of clients and businesses, one of the common questions I get is, can AI help me get more leads? How can I create more content to get views? Or could you create an AI system to help me out with my marketing strategies? And it made me realize one specific thing, that distribution is key. And the one who controls the narrative wins. In a world where AI is commoditizing everything, the one with the greatest distributions will still be the ultimate winner to be able to build big businesses or big brands for themselves. Let's take a look at a few examples over here in the content revolution over the past 10 years. As you can see over here, because Kylie Jenner has built such a big following over her content creation, she's managed to build $1 billion business launching Kylie Cosmetics. And not only that, if you take a look at another example that all of us know, Mr. Beast himself, because he goes all in on content, he's able to build $1 billion business with Feastables within just a couple of years thanks to his reach. And so essentially, content is one of the biggest leverage today in this new era. But how can we actually leverage it when these people have huge teams, huge funding to actually do so? And so with AI, we're able to do it today. But AI has changed the game and made it possible for me and you to build content empires today, allowing us to do what once would take teams of thousands of people to do so. And just like the ones who have hopped onto e-commerce and internet in 2012, the ones who leverage AI today will get ahead of 99%. And how do we do that? And so after consulting thousands of businesses, I found the ultimate leverage skill set of the next century, which is to own your own content distribution systems. But how can we do so with AI? And that's where I introduce you to become a content orchestrator, or essentially what people call a vibe marketing. Essentially creating your own AI content team by creating AI systems to help you do marketing tasks such as research, content creation, script writing, and so much more. And so in today's video, we'll cover the content orchestrator blueprint to launch a $1 billion ready AI distribution engine with no-code tools like n8n in 90 days without any development skills required. So let's get right into it. So to really understand what do I actually mean by this, we first have to understand the phases of content. Starting with the first phase that has been happening over the past 10 to 12 years, we essentially have been creating content manually with long hours, full teams, and high costs. Right? Essentially, if we want to scale bigger and bigger, just like Mr. Beast, he has to hire bigger and bigger teams to create content for him, to do research, to do script writing, thumbnail generation, and so much more. And then in 2020, when ChatGPT was first released, it created a wave of all these AI tools that came out that allows us to actually do more by utilizing all these AI tools to help us in our work. So at this specific stage, we're able to do things like script with ChatGPT, create images with Midjourney, or even generate videos with AI tools like Runway. And this saves 10 plus hours, but it's still manual and we still have to do it individually by using each of these AI tools separately. But now we're entering the new phase, which is the third phase, where we can become a content orchestrator, creating AI systems to work for us. Instead of just using these tools separately, the introduction of AI agents this year and AI systems allows us to connect all these different tools together by doing each of these different tasks like content creation, research analysis, lead generation, and so much more, allowing us to become the director or strategist instead of being the manual creator. And so this essentially is the greatest opportunity today to build AI systems and agents to create content for you on autopilot or run marketing campaigns for you at scale. And so how do we actually get started into this? And I know many of you would then ask this question, right? To be able to create systems, you have to be technical, and I'm not technical at all. How do I actually do this? But not to worry, because AI has solved that for us. So one of the greatest things today AI has done for us is to actually democratize technology by allowing us to create these systems without actually learning how to code. You could use tools like n8n, Make, or Zapier to build all these automation systems, or you could also use different tools like Boat, Cursor, and Lovable to code for you and create your own system platforms, allowing you to connect and create systems to run content or marketing strategies for you. What once required huge teams and huge budgets could now be done by yourself using these different AI tools. And the greatest part of it is that it's only getting started, and all these tools will only get better and better, and you can actually do way more as these AI tools advances. And so what makes this whole process of content orchestrating or vibe marketing so cool is that any set of action that can be defined can be automated into a system. And so we're going to go through a set of examples today to learn how we can actually do that. And it's never been easier than ever. So how we're going to do it today to show you an example of how this can actually works is that we're going to first scope a high leverage activity, and then we're going to create an AI system to do it for us. So for example, in our own content or marketing process, today we need to hire, let's say, a script writer to come up with the script for us, or a thumbnail designer to come up with mockups for us. How we can actually turn each of these individual tasks into a system, and then also combine them together to create a bigger system to do all the work together for you all together. So essentially, we're going to scope a high leverage activity, and then we're going to create an AI system to replicate and do the whole thing for us. And so by the end of the video, you have an understanding of how to scope your own AI system and be able to build them using these different no-code tools. Okay, So for today's example, I'm going to use 4 main no-code tools to showcase to you how you can build these AI systems without any coding experience at all. The first tool I'm going to use is n8n, which is a no-code builder that allows us to create powerful AI automation and systems through that platform. The second thing I'm going to use is something that we are all very familiar with, which is ChatGPT, which is where we're going to tap into the large language model to help us generate scripts, do research, or even generate images for us. Okay. The third I'm going to use is Airtable, which is going to be my storage space to store all my content information or research information. And lastly, it will be Google Console that allows me to connect to YouTube or my Google Drive to help me search up YouTube for content information or help me store things in my Google Drive. And so let's start out with the very first example of how people can actually create AI systems for content creation. Okay, so the first thing that I think all content creators need is the researcher. So let's say the first scope we want to do is to conduct research for our content generation. Essentially, in the manual way, we actually hire a researcher or do the research ourselves on YouTube, finding our competitors, and then come up with an Excel sheet of all the details, such as the view count of the competitors' accounts, the latest videos, the outliers, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to show you is how I can transform this research process into an AI system for us. And so how I think about it is I'll think about what's required. So let's say I will need Airtable to store the research information, to create a table for us to visualize all the different competitors' information. And then I also need to scrape YouTube for all my competitors' information, right? And so essentially what I'll do is to create a system that looks like this. Right, so this is a system that has been generated on n8n, and very quickly I'm going to run through with you how this whole thing actually works. And so this system itself will help me do research from top to the end, helping me find out all the competitors' information, which usually might take me a couple of hours to do so, which now can be done by this AI system within a couple of seconds or minutes. So let me show you how this works. So you can see over here I've created this system on n8n itself, and n8n essentially is like a Lego building platform. We can create different nodes which are like Lego blocks, which are actually different actions we can build to create our own automation system. Before we actually go deeper into this whole process, I'm going to first create an Airtable to show you what I want this AI system to do for me. So for example, I want to do a research to find out what are the latest outlier videos from my competitors and have a detailed research about them. What I essentially want out of this system at the end of it is that after typing in just the competitors that I have in mind, let's say for example AI Foundations, these are 3 wonderful content creators that have been doing AI automation content on the YouTube space, right? And so what I'll do is to create a table like this with the channel name, the link, channel ID, video count, subscribers, average view per video, and view per sub. But see, here's the thing, I don't want to do all this research all by myself, right? So I want the AI to actually do all of this for me just by keying in the channel username. So later you'll see my system will actually help us do so by filling out the blanks over here. And following that, we also not just want to have this information, we want the system to be able to find the top 5 videos in the past 6 months, right? Come up with the view count, the like counts, the outlier, and then create an outlier number for us to sort of know whether is this video outperforming their usual video and which channel it's from, the date created, as well as the URL of the video. And so this essentially will help me be able to have a better understanding of what videos people are actually looking for and which videos perform well for me to conduct my research for my next video. And so this AI researcher should be able to help me do both of these tasks so I don't have to do it myself. So let's go into n8n to see how this actually works. Alright, let's go into this first system. You can see over here, the first thing I did in my system is to create a test workflow trigger. So for this specific trigger, what I want to do is to just manually trigger it by clicking test workflow. It will trigger this whole workflow to run for me. Now you can also change the workflow to, let's say, time trigger or trigger by another action. And this will allow you to schedule this specific workflow, whether is it a specific time of the day or whether is it from a different action like changing a status within the Airtable itself. But just for this simple example, I'm just going to click it manually to show you how this works. Okay, afterwards I'm going to create a node which is to search the Airtable, and what I'm going to do is to search for the channel username that I actually key in so that the system will generate all the information for me. Okay, so you can take a look over here. Here I actually don't have to code, I just need to key in the information over here. So I just key in the Airtable link that I have, right? Connect to my credentials, connect to my base, which is the YouTube competitor analysis, and choose the table that I have over here. Once that is done, I'm going to create a few APIs to connect to YouTube. I'm going to use the search function to search for all the different channels that I've provided over here and retrieve all the different information they have, like channel name, video count, subscriber, and so on and so forth. And then my next note is to get information about the YouTube channel. So to showcase how my system can actually help me fill up the blank over here, I'm going to run my system once and I'm going to run through each part of it to help you understand how I actually built this out. So let's go back to my YouTube content research system, and very quickly you're going to see all the information updated in my Airtable. Okay, I'm going to click run once and we're going to see all the information updated in our Airtable. So let me click test workflow. Okay, now that this system has completed, let's go back to Airtable and see what we have gotten. You can see over here, now the AI system has actually updated this Airtable for us with the channel name, the link, the channel ID, the video count, subscribers, right, as well as the average view per video and the view per sub, all the information that we want. And then over here you can see it's actually also created the top 5 videos in the past 6 months with the view count, the likes count, the comments, as well as the outlier number, right? It's important for us to know whether is this an outlier video out of all the videos that they have. And over here we have for the other channels that we want to look as well. So you can see this is amazing. This is an outlier of 142, which could be an idea of a video that we can create if we want to target the same audience as well. And this is actually very useful for research. So now let's go into the system to quickly run through how this is being built. You can see because I want it to update accordingly for me, what I actually do is to have a trigger that allows me to click test workflow and it can run once. So this is a manual trigger. Okay, then add in the next node, which is the search Airtable node, right? What I want it to do is to search Airtable for the channel username that I key in. So if let's say I type in any other username over here, it will automatically update all the information for me, as well as come up with the top 5 videos over here as well. And then I want to use this, which is a API connector, to help me connect to YouTube, to use the YouTube search function to retrieve this information from YouTube itself. So I don't have to use other SaaS tools or any other applications. I could actually script YouTube according to the way I want it to be, and this is where API really comes in. And then following that, I also connect it to an HTTP request to get more information from the YouTube account, such as the details, the content details, the statistics from each of these YouTube competitor accounts. And then that's where I connect it back to Airtable again to update my list, right, by updating the channel username, the channel name, the link, the ID, as well as the video count, subscribers, average view per video, and so on. From there, I managed to get the video as well once again for each of these channels. I wrote max results 5, which will be the top 5 videos that I want to retrieve from this channel. And after getting the top 5 videos, I split it out and I update my Airtable again. So once again, not to worry if you don't quite understand what I'm talking about, but this video is really to showcase the overview example of how you can transform a specific work that you have into an AI system to do the work for you. And of course, if you really want to learn more in depth into how to build these different systems, you can click the link in the description below. Or you can watch my other videos where I go through a deeper run through of how to create AI systems like this. And essentially, it's an idea of how you can create a YouTube content research system just like that to do YouTube research for us, get us the information that we want. So that's really very powerful and that's very cool, and I actually did all of this without having to know any coding experience just by using these no-code tools. Okay, so coming back, that's really cool, right? But you must be thinking that's just a simple example for research. Why you want to do other things and actually stack up this specific function by passing the research to a person that will come up with new video ideas and then maybe come up with thumbnail designs as well. This is where creating AI systems is really cool, because then we can actually create our next part of it, which is the idea creator. Right? Let's say we have all these top outlier videos now. Right? The next thing we want to do on a manual basis is that we will have an idea creator, whether it be ourselves or our team, to use the top outlier videos to come up with new ideas. What's required is that this idea creator needs information from the researcher or context about our channel or some sort of score guide that they want to use to create these different ideas. And so like I said earlier in this video, any system that you have created manually can be turned into an AI system. And what I would do then is to create an idea creator system to stack on top of what we have earlier to create the idea for us. So now let's run through this system to show you how I can actually generate different ideas from the research that we've gotten earlier on. So let's go into Airtable first to show you what I want to get out of this before we go into the n8n, before we start running the system ourselves. Alright, so manually what I want to do is, let's say I have a new table over here where I want to create ideas based on the videos that we have in mind. Usually what we'll do manually is we'll look through these top videos over here that we have in mind. And let's say we like this specific video over here, right? We think the outlier score is very high, the views are really good, so we want to create something along this line as well. So what I usually want to do manually is I want to pass it to the idea creator and tell it, go and generate some ideas for me, right? What I can do over here is to prompt the next system by creating this status column where I can change it to, let's say change it to approved, and this will actually prompt the next system to generate ideas for me. And at the end of it, I want it to create a couple of ideas for me over here with a score like the virality value, the relevancy to the channel, total score, for me to decide which ideas I actually want to use. Okay, so let's go into my second system over here, the video idea agent. I'm going to run it once and we're going to see what we get from this. Alright, let's go back to Airtable and see what happens. Now you can see over here, because I've selected this specific video to generate new ideas for me, this video idea agent now creates 5 different ideas for me that I could actually use. It gives me a score for virality value, relevancy to channel, and the total score itself for me to decide whether I want to use this idea for the next video. So you can see over here, there's 5 amazing ones. right? Automate your content strategy, how to schedule and publish videos with n8n, right? Convert text to engaging videos using n8n with AI tools to create dynamic content. You can see over here, n8n is actually mentioned in each of these specific ideas as well. And why is that so? Because my channel specifically cover tutorial videos over n8n. And so this is the power of creating customized AI systems that work exactly for you and not for anyone else, right? So let's go back to the system to see how this actually is built out. So you can see over here, I can actually create a different trigger as well. And this time I set a time trigger, right? This can be scheduled perhaps every 1 hour daily or a couple of minutes daily. You can see over here, I can set the trigger intervals, whether is it a day or a couple of minutes. And then I also search the Airtable for the record. Right, what I do is then to search the video table instead. Right, why I want to do that is, remember, we talk about using this status to prompt the AI system to generate new video ideas for us. So we don't want to generate video ideas out of every single research that we have. Let's say I just want to generate videos for this specific chosen one that I have over here. So I actually change the status to approve earlier on, and this will trigger the AI system to generate video ideas only for this specific video over here. And this thing I'll do is to create a filter system that makes sure it only chooses the approved videos to generate ideas for it. Now let's come into the cool part of this system, which is the AI agent. And so for this system, the AI agent itself will sort of be like our worker to create these ideas for us in the specific format that we want. So if you open this up, you can see over here, I do have a prompt, which is where I'm going to give it information such as the title and the URL of the video that we want to create. So you think of it from a manual concept. If I were to pass this research information to an ideal creator, I will actually pass the Excel sheet information to the ideal creator manually and ask it to generate the selected ones for me. But instead of doing that, we actually pass it through the prompt over here by connecting the chosen video that has been selected as approved and pass the information to this agent itself. And from there, we actually give it a system message, which is sort of like an instruction to instruct our agent to do the task for us. So just like any other workers that we will hire into our team, in this case, this agent is an ideal agent. Alright, we want it to be specific. He only does the task to create ideas for us. And I want it to create 5 viral ideas for a channel based on the outlier video provided. Right, so I tell it the role over here. I give it some task, and I tell it how to create different scores, right? So this is a simple example, like coming up with a virality score, a relevancy score, how relevant it is to our audience and our channel, and the total score itself. And then I can actually also give it channel context. And this is just a very simple example, but you can give it even more context about your channel as well, right? So to use it as a simple example, I talk about our channel focusing on teaching n8n tutorials for content creations, and our target audience is content creators and marketers. And so in this case, you realize that's the reason why the video ideas that our agent has created for us always ends off with the keyword n8n over here, right? You can see video ideas, content strategy, how to schedule and publish videos with n8n, convert text to engaging videos using n8n. And all these are titles that is very relevant to our channel, and it's very relevant to target content creators or marketers or anyone that's using content or doing it with n8n. And I also give other information like returning it in a specific output for us so that we can have 5 different ideas each time for every single video that we select. And you can change this to 3 different video ideas or even 10, or you can even make it flexible. So there's really a lot of things that you can actually do with this. Okay, coming back, right? Once that is done, right, what I want to do is to give it some functions, right? After creating the output for us, you can see over here it's generated all this different information for us in one whole chunk over here, right? And if you were to just use a manual tool like ChatGPT, you won't be able to actually get all this information separated and slot into each of these Airtable column that we have over here. If you've been comfortable using it, you might have to prompt it a couple of times. You do have to copy and paste it over. You will not manually update in the specific format that you want. In the follow-up system, right, I split out all these ideas into 5 different items itself, right, with the idea, the virality score, and relevancy score. And this allows me to update into each of these fields one by one so that we can visualize it in a nicer manner without having to see a whole chunk of text all together. And then I'll loop it 5 times because there are 5 different ideas, and I'll update my Airtable with each of these new idea, and I'll update the status to completed. Right, you can see over here, it's ideas generated over here. So once this is completed, it will make sure that AI will no longer generate new ideas for us on this topic unless we want it to, so we don't have repeated topics as well. And you can see this is once again an add-on to see how I created this system specifically for my own use case, giving me the output in the specific format that I want. And this is an amazing thing for content creators or marketers. Most of the time we start off with all these ideas that we have in mind, and the best kind of extension towards our work itself is to use AI to actually replicate the different systems and processes that we have created earlier on for ourselves, so that we can sort of multiply our work without actually having to lower the quality of it, right? And so that's essentially what we can do with the video idea creator. In this example, you can see how I actually stack this video system on top of the research system as well, all the way from competitor research to idea generation. And just for a bonus in this video to showcase why we can add on one more process as well. Is it possible? Definitely, and I'm going to show you how we can actually do that. So let's come back to the slides over here. So once you've created our research and our idea, we're going to conceptualize these ideas as well with thumbnail designs. You have a visualization idea of whether you think this video could be good for your brand or not, right? Essentially, we could also then create a thumbnail design creator to create thumbnail designs for the idea that we select as well. So let's go into the next scope, which is the thumbnail ideator. So once again, let's start off with the manual process first to kind of understand the systems that we want to build, and then see if we can actually transfer that into an AI system, right? So let's start with the thumbnail ideator, right? Based on the top ideas, we want it to come up with a couple of thumbnails to visualize the video for us. So I have a visualization on whether is this a good package before we actually launch it onto YouTube. And so what's required over here is that we want the top selected ideas from the idea creator, and then we want to have a thumbnail design tool to design these thumbnail sketches and manually use something like Canva to come up with these designs, and then you think about whether is it good or not before you actually convert it into a full video. But today with AI, you can actually generate all of this from scratch. And so I'll be thinking, what if I actually can transform this into a system that generates thumbnail ideas for me so that I can visualize it every time I select from the Excel sheet without having to go through the hassle of creating these thumbnails and spending hours doing it. And so, once again, we can turn this into a system as well. This is our thumbnail ideator system. We're going to go into it right away. Okay, so now let's go into the third workflow, the thumbnail ideation system. Right, we're going to start off by going to Airtable once again to give an understanding of what we want. So let's say we have all these video ideas over here. And after looking through, let's say I like this video, right? Faceless video monetization strategies using n8n to automate earnings from creative content, right? Total score is 20, so it sounds really amazing. So let's say I change this to the settings, test thumbnail, right? So once I selected test, in the ideal situation, I'll imagine I want this to be updated over here. I want to create 3 thumbnails for me to visualize for this specific video. So this is how I want to visualize this concept for myself. So this will be the next system that I want to create so that each time I click test, I will have 3 different thumbnails generated for me. And so let's go back to the system over here. Let's test out this workflow and let's see what happens. All right, now that's done, let's go back to Airtable to see what we get. So you can see over here it's created 3 thumbnails for us based on the idea that we have selected. And it's updated this specific idea, titles, thumbnails generated, okay? So let's go into this thumbnail ideation section and let's open up each of this folder. You can see we do have a thumbnail for us. This is good visualization for us to see. The second one over here, right? Interesting one. And the third one over here, pretty cool, right? And you can see all of these ideas are actually generated in the same anime style, and that's because I actually instruct the thumbnail generator to generate for me in this specific style itself. So how do we actually create this thumbnail generator for us? So let's go back to n8n to see how this system works. Okay, you can see over here, I do have this full system. I once again want it to search the Airtable, right, and retrieve the information from this specific table over here, right? It wants to know when I set an idea to test, it will scrape this specific information and then it will generate a couple of thumbnails for me, and it will create thumbnails for me to understand whether is this a video that I want to create or not. And then coming back, I'll filter this out as well, and then I'll have a thumbnail generator agent. And this agent itself will essentially create the thumbnail for us. I gave it a video title, which is from this video idea over here, okay? And then it will help us create thumbnails. So I tell it a role, which is for it to be a thumbnail creator this time instead of an idea creator. And I give it a task whereby for each video idea, I want it to generate 3 unique thumbnail descriptions for us. I give it some instructions on what kind of prompts that I want to use, as well as the anime style for my thumbnail generation for me to visualize the idea. I also set some output formats as well, so we can create prompts for 3 different thumbnails for us to generate. Another cool thing you can do when training on AI is to give it examples and ideas, similar to training your own stuff or to create protocols for any of your own systems as well. You want to give it examples of outputs that you think are good, so they can actually use as reference to generate outputs that is similar to what you want. So I give it some examples of good prompts that I think could be useful to generate the thumbnails that we want. okay, and I give it some additional considerations as well. And one of the things to take note also for an AI agent is that we want to give it sort of like a brain. And so this is where I actually connected it to ChatGPT for both the video idea agent as well as the thumbnail idea agent. And the cool part about creating systems, instead of just being restricted to one specific large language model that you can use for your agents, you can use different models as well, such as GPT or DeepSeek or Claude, for different agents to generate different things. And these different models could actually work differently to generate different outputs for you on different costs as well. And this is sort of like a leverage to utilize what has been created by these big organizations and big companies and create your own customized systems to work for you. At the end of it, I have a few different nodes as well. I have a split out node to split out the different prompts so that I'll generate each of these images one by one, and I'll pass it through the AI image generator. And this passed through the current model GPT-4o to generate the image for us individually. So you can take a look over here to just get a preview. These are the images that we have created. Okay, and then the GPT-4o would then help us create this new image, upload it into our Google Drive, and then update our status in Airtable so that we get something like this over here with the new thumbnails created for us based on the idea that we have selected. And just like that, I've once again transformed the thumbnail creation process into an AI system to do that part for me. And so I hope this showcased to you how you can actually transform any part of your work into an AI system to do the task for you. And the sky is really limitless here in building AI systems like this. Right, essentially, instead of just having them one by one, the real power really comes when we can combine all three systems together. And now through these three examples, I actually have a full system which do content research for me on YouTube, create video ideas, as well as generate thumbnails for me accordingly based on the ideas that I want. And this is just one example of how I can connect these different tools together. I could even connect it in different manners to generate scripts for me, or to generate voiceovers for me, and so on and so forth. So the sky is really the limit here, and there are so many different ways that we can actually combine them together. And so of course, if you want to go deeper and test out the different workflows that I have just shown you earlier, you can download my resources link in the description below for free to see how you can set up these blueprints and try them out yourself as well. And from there, you can actually decide whether you want to convert them into your own specific use cases too. And so I truly believe this is really the future of content. Right, currently today, people are spending hundreds of hours, thousands of dollars on creating content with a full team managed by 10 plus people. And the future of content, I really believe, is to build AI systems like this, right? To build and test thousands of systems per day. Just like how big marketing teams test campaigns, we can actually do it ourselves as well, testing different campaigns, different systems that works uniquely for us. And this could be managed by a solopreneur managing thousands of different AI systems in the future. And the greatest value over here is not just by copying the blueprints that I've created, but it's to build AI systems unique for each of your different use cases. Right, you can see in the three examples that I've shown earlier, these are just generated by ideas that I have in mind. But if you have other different ideas as well, you can actually convert and create your own AI systems that work specifically for your own use cases. So just to give you a couple more examples, take this example of this previous workflow that I've created. Right, as I've seen videos of people creating POV style videos that have been generating a lot of views, I thought, what if I could create a system that could do that for me? So in this previous tutorial, I actually came out with a full system that generates these different POV video styles for me in a unique manner that I want it to be. And then from there, I can actually create another system which is to help me auto-publish my videos onto YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook as well. Right, and what's even cooler is if I combine them together, I will be able to create a full content system that helps me generate faceless POV style videos and then upload them onto my platforms automatically for me. And so if I don't have all these systems, I would have to do them manually one by one. But then with these systems, I can actually test them out and constantly improve on the systems to generate better content for me in the way that I want it to be. Once again, this is just another example for you to understand what you can build with content systems. And at the end of the day, I really believe we are going towards a future where one person can do the job of full content teams. And we're only getting started, and the tools are only getting better. And the future is really AI over here. If you look at the news, AI in marketing is not the leap anymore. It is a new baseline. Businesses are all going towards AI. And the greatest thing is that you and I can do it too today as well. And at the end of it, distribution is key in a future world where everything is commoditized. But we always got to remember the world doesn't lack content. The world lacks quality content. And it isn't about generating a bunch of random content just like everyone else, but it's about creating systems that could create quality content that suits your own brand values, that could suit your own brand tone and quality. And at the end of it, the one with the best AI distribution systems will be 99% ahead of everyone else. And now's the time to seize the opportunity to transform from being a normal content creator to a content orchestrator, creating AI systems and teams to do the work for you. So if you really want to learn more about how I build all these different content systems and to go into a deeper dive with tech support, as well as exploring latest strategies and campaigns that we can actually build with this system, do click the link in the description below to learn more and start building your own content empire. Till then, I hope you found this video valuable. Do like and subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.